Hello and welcome back to Unlock English with Hannah. Today we are going to discuss another 15 innate British traits. If you haven't seen my first video on this, make sure you have a look. But in this video, I will go over the habits, behaviours and attitudes that make British people unique and recognisable over the world. So if you recognise any of these in yourself, maybe you are a little bit British. This is part of my comprehension listening exercise series. So as usual, I will speak slowly and clearly unless I get very excited about something, because then I speak quite quickly. I'm sorry, but better practice for you anyway. And I will put up any phrases that you might find difficult up on the screen as I speak. Let's get into it, shall we? Number one is our obsession with greeting cards. I know this seems random, but we love to give a greeting card. Birthdays, Christmas, Easter, weddings, sorry you're leaving, thank you, welcome to the new house, retirement, even good luck with your driving test. In the UK, there is a card for absolutely everything. Supermarkets dedicate entire aisles to greeting cards. And genuinely, when I receive a card, it makes me very happy, and it makes me happy to give cards to others too. For us, like making a cup of tea, giving someone a card is an act of kindness. It's a gesture to say, I'm thinking about you right now. If you want to get in a British person's good books, send them a card. Number two is a classic, and that is that we soften absolutely everything in our speech. If there's one thing we cannot do as British people, it's to be direct. So we soften our language constantly, even when there isn't a need for it. For example, instead of saying to someone, there is absolutely nothing I can do to help you, we would say, oh, there's not really anything I can do about that, I'm afraid. Or, it's a bit difficult, isn't it? Maybe I'll see what I can do. Translation, there's nothing I can do. We pile on hedging words. Quite, sort of, kind of, a little bit, slightly. We won't say, I'm annoyed. We'll say, I'm slightly annoyed, to be honest. I'm slightly annoyed. For example, that's a bit of a problem. Translation, that is an absolute disaster. I was just wondering if, we say that a lot, I was just wondering if you wouldn't mind sending me that report. Translation, I need you to do this immediately. Would you mind possibly, enter what you would like them to do. Would you mind possibly taking this in there for me? Translation, please do this, but don't hate me. Even criticism, we cannot give directly. It's padded with compliments. Your essay had so many strengths, but it was just a tiny bit unclear in certain places. Translation, your essay was a total mess. Oh, that dress is lovely. I'm not sure the colour really suits you though. It's a bit bright. Translation, the dress looks awful on you. As I said, it's all about us being polite. We really, really value politeness, but sometimes we take it a bit too far because it means we can never be overly direct or harsh about something. That's also why Americans and British people can clash a little bit, because Americans are much more direct. Number three, complaining politely. Of course, because we are so polite, when we complain, we blanket our complaint with good manners. We won't just come out and say, I am not happy with this. In a restaurant, for example, we'd say, oh, sorry, I don't suppose, is there a chance that this could be warmed up just a little bit more? Thank you. Oh yes, it was absolutely delicious. A bit on the salty side. Translation, it was disgusting, it was too salty, I couldn't eat it. But that's not what we would say. We'd rather frame a complaint as a polite request rather than risk sounding rude. And once the complaint is made, we often apologise for making the complaint. I might be wrong, but I don't think this is my order, I'm afraid. Sorry, thank you, sorry. We can be hopeless sometimes. Number four, endless cups of instant coffee. This one I can struggle with sometimes because I have lived in Italy, and obviously there you become a bit of a coffee snob. My husband is also a coffee snob. So for him, when I offer someone instant coffee, no, it's terrible. In the UK, tea might be iconic, but the unsung hero is the humble jar of instant coffee. If you go into any work office in the UK, most of them will have a nice simple jar of Nescafe or something like that, and they will spoon it and mix it with hot water. Making a round of hot drinks for people is also a social duty. I'm putting the kettle on. Would anyone like one? The answer is almost always yes, because refusing seems antisocial. Number 5, the Sunday roast tradition. I love this one. Roast dinners on Sundays are a sacred tradition. Sundays revolve around them. You have roast beef, roast chicken with roast potatoes and vegetables, of course. Yorkshire puddings, it's a whole thing. Families gather on Sundays. It takes hours. You drink alcohol, you get nice and tipsy, or you meet at a pub and have a Sunday roast in a pub. A Sunday without a roast feels incomplete to a lot of British people. Number 6, love of DIY, disastrous or not. British people have an unshakable faith in DIY. DIY stands for do it yourself, as in jobs around the house that you do it yourself. So do a DIY job painting or DIY fixing the kitchen. So we pop to B&Q, our classic go-to for DIY jobs, and we come back and with a bit of elbow grease, we convince ourselves that we can tackle anything in the house. Sometimes it works, but sometimes a disaster ensues. Shelves fall down or something like that. But even if it fails, we take pride in the fact we had a go. To have a go at something is very important. Number 7, garden pride. British gardens aren't always just green spaces, they can be a source of fierce competition. Lawns need to be immaculate, hedges neatly trimmed. Not for everyone, but for a lot of British people. Hanging baskets are watered daily, and compliments for our garden can be deflected with false modesty. Oh, it's nothing, just a bit of miracle grow. Although, truthfully, someone might have spent hours pruning the roses. It's a point of pride that is often, of course, understated. I talked in the last one about our fixation on the weather, but often then that extends to our attitude. We have weather-dependent optimism. The moment the sun appears, even briefly, we transform. People rush outside. For foreigners who have sun a lot, I think they find British people very funny, because the moment the sun comes out in the UK, all of the British people are out. Picnic blankets cover every single space of a park. People take out chairs. At 25 degrees, we declare it a heat wave. Not really, I'm exaggerating. But when the sun comes out, it boosts our optimism because, as I've discussed before, in the UK, we don't get that much sunshine, unfortunately. Having said that, our summers are starting to change. We are feeling the effects a bit of global warming. So we are getting more heat waves actually as time goes on. And number 9 ties in with our weather-dependent optimism, but that is our love of the seasons. Even though we complain about the weather in the UK, most British people do love our seasons and would really miss our seasons if they lived in a country that was sunny all the time. So yes, we complain about the weather, but it's a contradiction because we also love the seasons. We love it when it starts to get a bit cold and crisp in the autumn. We love it when the leaves start to change colour and we have bonfires and we have fireworks night in November. The 5th of November is what we call bonfire night. And roasted chestnuts, all those sorts of things. We then love, of course, winter and Christmas and the lead up to Christmas. And then we love how in spring it starts to get lighter and you start to get the leaves growing through. As you can probably see from my enthusiasm, we also do love the seasons. So I know about myself, I could never live in a climate that is the same all the year round because I would really, really miss the seasons and the seasonal changes that you see. Number 10, National Trust memberships. The National Trust is a UK-based charity dedicated to preserving historical buildings and sites. So it's quite wonderful. Any weekend you can go to an old castle, an old stately home, beautiful gardens, and we love them. A great British weekend often involves a trip to a National Trust property. We love the gift shop, where you have loads of lovely, quaint little trinkets you can buy, and the gift shop sells shortbread and fudge. There's often a lovely cafe or tea rooms where you can have a cuppa and a cake, and then you wander around this beautiful stately home. And you can either pay for each entry, or you can sign up for an annual membership, which means you can go to any of the hundreds of National Trust properties there are, and because you have a membership, you get in, well, for free, but obviously you've paid for the annual membership. Actually, how many National Trust properties are there? I'm going to have a look. Let's have a look. More than I thought. The National Trust looks after 500 properties. So there we go. Peak Britishness, National Trust membership. Number 11, small talk about trains. We bond with strangers over shared frustrations when it comes to trains. On a train platform, for example, you will often see someone turn to the person next to them and say, "Oh, should have been here 10 minutes ago." And tut, "Oh, I know, last week I was delayed for an hour. Lee's on the track, can you believe it?" Again, it's not just complaining, it's about bonding with your shared suffering. "Oh no, the train is late again." I will say, the same doesn't necessarily apply on the tube in the underground, because in the underground everyone is caught in their own world, and general underground etiquette is not really to speak to strangers. If you want to see more about that, watch this video where I go over the 10 things that drive Londoners crazy, and included on that is how we don't make eye contact or speak on the tube. Outside of London though, on a train platform, you will bond over your shared train troubles. Number 12, our pub quiz obsession. Pub quizzes are a British institution. Every week they happen in the pub, and you get into teams and you have different categories, and it's about general knowledge, and we love them. People will call themselves quirky things like smarty pints. You get a lot of puns. A pun is something where you have a double meaning. And winning isn't the point. The point is debating fiercely over whether or not the quizmaster is wrong. Also, a heinous crime is to cheat during the pub quiz. Once I heard a group talking because they had someone who wasn't British on their team, and he was looking up answers on his phone, and they were shocked. They were like, how dare he cheat on the pub quiz? Number 13, talking about pets, especially those who have dogs. If you want to get a conversation going with a British person and you know they have a dog, ask about the dog. We will talk about our pets for hours. Their habits, their quirks, their diet, their quirky little personality. We love talking about our dogs. I could talk about our family dog for hours. On walks in the local area, sometimes people don't know the other dog walkers' names, but we will know the name of the dog. And we'll say, "Oh look, how's Bella doing? How old is Crumble now? Aw." It's socially acceptable to know the name of the dog and not necessarily know the name of the owner. Number 14, a good old charity shop hunt. On most British streets, you will see a number of charity shops. A place where we have second-hand clothes, second-hand books, lots of second-hand things, and we love rummaging through them to find a good item. So finding a designer jacket for £5 is a badge of honour, and we will let everyone know. "Oh, this, £3 from Oxfam." Quid is slang for pounds. £3. So we brag about how cheap we found them. "Oh, this was just £2. Oxfam is one of our charities. And finally, our awkward giving gift etiquette. Giving and receiving gifts in the UK is a performance of politeness. You can't just rip open the present. You have to start with, "Oh, you really shouldn't have. This is far too much." And when you open it, no matter what it is, no matter how much you dislike or like it, you must say, "Oh, that's lovely." Even if it's socks, "Oh, I love them. Thank you so much." And the gift giver immediately says, "Oh, it's nothing. It's nothing." Both sides downplay the effort while secretly hoping it was appreciated. Funnily enough, growing up, I used to hate opening presents for that reason, because if I knew, even if I didn't like the gift, I'd have to pretend that I did, and then that felt very disingenuous. But It's part of our tradition, it's part of our etiquette. There you go, another 15 classically British traits. I'm sorry if I waffled there. And now when you hear a British person speak and soften everything with oh little or quite or slightly, you know why. Or you see them opening a gift and gushing profusely about a pair of socks, you know why. Did you recognize any of these traits in yourself or traits that you've seen in a British person? Let me know if you do recognize them. Make sure you watch the first part if you haven't seen it already, and you might find these other videos helpful where I go over common daily British expressions, or the playlist where I have lots of listening exercises like this one. Sorry if I spoke quickly when I got excited, but I suppose it is good practice. It's good listening practice, and you can always watch it on half speed if you want. Don't forget your free PDF, link is in the description. If you would like to support my channel and give back, you can always buy me a coffee. Again, link is in the description, but no pressure. Your being here is enough. Have a lovely rest of the day, and hopefully I will see you in the next one. Take care.